Did I tell you guys about Where's My Son?
I think so.
By you and your son?
Yeah.
Like how it's a thing with you and your son, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You've told us before.
Yeah,
You can tell it again. It's been a bit.
Yeah, it's
Nah. I just thought of it right now because it's ransom.
well, now the audience will never.
They'll never
You know,
know.
Go
you're-
back and
you're
listen
beautiful.
to our entire back catalog to find
try to
Ricardo's
find
story
it.
about
Just-
him and his son and why they have a thing
Yeah,
related to
go-
the movie Ransom.
Yeah, go listen to our entire back catalog, just like that one listener has been doing and keeping a recap on what scores we've been giving.
Oh yeah, you know what? We finally have a crazy viewer who is willing to do that because I remember like thinking that it would be nice to have something like that happening.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I said it in an episode at some point.
Yeah.
But
I just wanna
we
give a-
finally have the guy. So thanks, guy.
Well, I just want to give a quick shout out to Johnny. I don't want to say his last name because I don't want to dox him, but thanks, Johnny.
Let's call him Johnny Mnemonic.
Sure. Yes, Johnny Mnemonic. He is keeping track of every score we ever gave an
Damn,
episode,
dude.
as if that matters at all.
Thank you.
Well, I would love to just see a statistical analysis at some point of just how wildly inconsistent we are.
Having gone through 18 episodes so far, he has. What do you think our current highest rated episode is
Which one? Collectively or separately?
collectively? Because
I don't
he's
know.
sorting it by the average.
Oh,
Overall?
It kind of surprised me slightly, but also made sense.
The Sex Planet one?
It's a sexy one. It is a sexy one.
The one where they all lost their memories but not the personalities. I forgot which one.
No, not that.
oh, the one
that's-
where Deanna was like mind raped.
No,
Oh my god,
That
I can't
one.
say that, dude.
That's not her favorite one. No.
No, I mean it was like it was a good episode. I don't mean like like the subject matter.
Yeah,
is
I'm trying to
great.
remember which ones we like unanimously all went like, yeah, that's a great one.
Well, it's a bit of a stretch, so I'll just say it. Right now, it's The Perfect Mate, the one with Famke Johnson.
okay. You know what?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, that
Yeah.
does make sense.
So I'm like a little surprised, but also I'm like, that makes sense, though. We all liked it, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So, you know. But hey, everybody, welcome to our Christmas/holiday episode of Newbie Star Trek. Much like
Happy
last year.
holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Hello.
Much like last year, it's a little different in that we're just gonna field some stuff from the crowd. But this time, instead of letters, we did an AMA because we
Talk
figured
to the audience. Oh God, this is always death.
we figured this would be a good way to get some more pointed questions across, because sometimes, you know, letters have a lot of stuff, and then sometimes they want to ask a question at the end. We just don't have time. So let's just make it all questions, right? So
Where have we gotten these questions from?
we got them from our YouTube community post. And to be frank, we weighted the questions in favor of our YouTube channel members. And if you wanted to join our channel where you get access to perks like that, I guess, where we randomly decide to do a cool thing. Or, you know, we also release episodes early. We have ad-free
Debatably cool.
we have ad-free versions of the podcast. And we're planning to add more things in the new year as we get things set up. I really need to get a crack on in that Discord and finally get that going. But, you know, that kind of stuff, you can just... you could click the join button below if you're on YouTube, or if you're elsewhere, you could just look in the podcast description and there'll be a link where you can just click join. For some reason, because Apple's dicks, if you're on the YouTube app on an Apple device, the join button will not be there because Apple demands a cut of the join because it's considered a transaction. So you may not see the button, but you could still click the link in our description. So that's how that works. I'm very sorry.
Unless
Yeah.
you're like a big name YouTuber.
Yeah, unless you're like Linus Tech Tips, where it's just like you're big enough that YouTube's willing to pay for it. But
Wow, they will selectively go for that.
yes,
Yeah.
they have, because
Mhm.
some
Okay.
channels. Well, he has like 15 million subscribers.
Some
No, it's-
channels
it's just
they totally
interesting
just
to
put
me
the
that-
they put the button there.
Some channels have access to crazy tools that we don't. Like, just as a little bit inside baseball, YouTube doesn't let you replace videos. The best you can do is trim something out or blur something or mute it, right? In the edit, which even that has been a massive like step forward based on what YouTube is allowed to do versus in the past. But some creators allow you to re-upload a video. It's crazy because
without losing views.
without losing views.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because that's some YouTubers have that privilege. We don't. because by comparison, we're pretty tiny, but we're growing thanks to you guys listening, and we really appreciate it.
Don't worry, we'll be the biggest channel ever very soon.
No, but anyway, let's get into some of these questions, huh? Our first question from a channel member, NewRocJacob. He asks, or they ask, I'm assuming. They ask, I have the sense that some or all of you have a background in quote unquote the arts as it relates to literature, theater, film, or television. What are your academic and professional backgrounds and your current occupations?
Oh,
Well, if you don't want to
nice.
mention your current occupation, for example, I won't because I'm under NDA, so I can't say anything. But I'll go first and just say my background's weird. I do technically have a background in film. I graduated from Cal Arts with an MFA in film directing. But before that, my degree was actually in cognitive science at UC San Diego.
Nerd.
Nerd.
And I was actually
Get out of here, dude.
pursuing a career as a cognitive science researcher. And
Restore more phonemes, nerd.
yeah, it's literally what There's a paper I wrote about the phonemic restoration effect and how the P300 affects it. But anyway, that's my background academically, I guess. And then I made a huge pivot to the film industry for some reason.
For some reason.
What about you guys? What are your backgrounds? As if I don't know, but
Who wants to go next? I'll go next. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, go Ricardo.
You look. It's so easy to find out who our
mean, you
names
can
and what
just,
we do. Yeah, you can
look
just
on
Google it, but
LinkedIn, I guess.
it's.
I'm just not going to say it out loud because I'm not supposed
yeah,
to.
It's
Really?
because of it. Yeah, whenever you join, you probably signed an NDA that you're forgetting you
for
did.
projects, but not necessarily my title.
Mine was a blanket as long as I'm near that building.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't read it. when I signed. No, I'm joking.
I work for in the industry, I guess you would call it.
Doesn't everyone in LA?
Yeah.
To some
Mostly.
capacity, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all from LA, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not in LA, so I don't work in the industry.
Yeah.
That's true. Anyway, I interrupted you, Ricardo.
No, that was it. That was it.
You're like, that's my
Hey,
nature.
whatever you're willing to give. You don't have to.
No, what else do you want me to give? I dropped out of college 3 times.
Okay.
That's
good.
And then those who.
So I'm
those who
guessing
can't
no
do-
student loans are you dealing with?
I mean, I
hope.
still went to school, and I still.
no.
I did a certain thing that allowed me to go to school and have no student loans.
That sounds really sinister the way you say that.
No,
I did a thing.
Wait, what exactly?
I did.
I met somebody in a
it the
back
other way.
alley.
I did like a trade thing
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
where I worked,
yeah.
Cool.
and then I
Back
I
when
paid my
that
way
used to be
school.
more of a thing, now it really isn't. They don't really
Yeah,
let you
work
do that.
study is work study like a major component of
What do you mean work study?
Like the thing you're doing, where you did, where like as a part of learning the trade, you were sent back to school. They don't do that often anymore.
No, not even that. Like I did something before I went to college that allowed me to make a lot of money
Yeah,
to pay for
right.
college.
Like you saved
gotcha.
up for college.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it took me maybe twice as long to get through the schooling I did do, but then I dropped out 3 times, so that made it feel good. It feels good.
It evened out. It evened out.
Yeah,
in
it
the
feels
end,
to
dude.
not have student loans and still be doing okay.
I still have student loans.
Yeah, you gotta not pay those, dude.
I'll just stop
You
paying.
gotta not pay
Yeah,
them.
what are they gonna do to you?
No, what are they gonna do?
Still
They're gonna
take
come
everything
after
I
you? No.
No, dude.
Was Joe
Change your
Biden gonna
name.
come to your door? What is
Even
he
if
gonna
I
do?
die, those loans will exist because that's what this country does.
You're not gonna pay
That's
them.
You just say, "Oh, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about."
No, it's another Marvin out there.
Yeah,
You got me mixed up.
You got
with
to.
someone else.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye student
Yeah,
loans.
dude.
Yeah.
Go charge his estate.
Yeah, go to his fucking. He'll pay it off instantly.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
I mean,
it.
in heaven, wherever he's at, or hell,
Yeah,
he'll pay them.
yeah.
That's it. In the industry, college dropout, and I like to party.
Yeah, living life.
There you go.
Dan?
My background as far as the arts goes is I went to UCSD with Marvin. In fact, that is how we got acquainted with each other.
Yeah.
And I studied visual arts media with film/video emphasis is the full title of that bachelor's degree that I got from there. But I did not go to any more schooling after that. I've worked a couple of sets as a PA. That was fun. I've gotten paid once for it.
Yeah, that's rare.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's I dabbled in the industry, but my current career has nothing to do with it, and I will not mention what that is.
Yeah, for reasons.
Yeah, OnlyFans model.
Well, that he wants everyone to know. Otherwise, how is he going to grow? Right?
That's true.
So,
That's true. That's true.
yeah. So
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm Sarah. For those, if this happens to be your first episode you're listening to,
You shouldn't be
Randomly.
listening to
Yeah,
this.
You
don't
should-
even.
you should go back.
If this is the first one, stop it.
stop it. You should go back and
Stop.
listen to how many seasons of stuff and then come back. Let's see. I did a lot of school. I got my undergrad in mass communications, video production, and like filmmaking and things like that. And I also got my undergrad degree in creative writing and majored in English. So I was a double major in my undergrad. And that all happened in Florida. And then I moved out here to go to California Institute of the Arts for graduate school. And I earned my MFA.
I almost never hear the full name set out like that.
Yeah, well,
California
because,
Institute of the Arts.
yeah, some people don't know it by CalArts, also known as CalArts up in Santa
I think most people
Clarita.
only know it by CalArts.
Really? I feel like sometimes people don't know.
like I had actually forgotten what it's supposed to be called for real.
Yeah, even like,
CalArts.
especially in the animation industry, no one says California Institute of the
Yeah,
Arts.
that's how I knew about
California
CalArts.
Institute of the Arts in Santa
Which is,
Clarita.
if for people who don't know, that's like the big actual thing CalArts is known for, because Walt Disney essentially sort of started CalArts and then regretted it the moment he created it.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah,
It was
disowned it.
infamously
sex
throughout
full
like the
of,
early
like,
2010s.
Sexual harassment.
Yes.
Well, he was hoping to turn it into like a little city, and then
Who was it? Who was it?
Walt Disney.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
Walt
was
Disney.
founded by
Oh, so it's
Disney.
really anti-Semitic.
Well, that too, and
Well, Disney cut ties with CalArts a long time ago.
It's
so.
not. There's no longer any official ties with
Oh,
CalArts.
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I went there and I earned my graduate degree in film directing. I got my MFA, and that's where I met Marvin. He was my
Mhm.
classmate, and we made a lot of films together.
one of which you could watch on
some
YouTube
of which
right
you
now.
can find on YouTube right now. You can watch you can find those films on fugitiveframes.com, right?
Well, that and also, because a Night's
Mhm.
Tour, you can find it
Night's
at
Tour.
fugitiveframes.com. Yeah.
So I was the producer on that film. Marvin directed and wrote that film. That was a really awesome experience. It's feature length. Go check it out. After graduate school, I always freelanced and worked on set. Well, during graduate school, I worked on set as a makeup artist and just general on-set ADing and things like that. I got a job in the industry after graduate school as a producer, and I've been doing that ever since. And yeah, it's been great. I feel like I've worked on a lot of really cool stuff, and I do love the industry. It's fun, but it's hard work. And I mean, everyone here in LA, I feel like, works in the industry. It's not that exciting, but yeah, it's fun. And it has allowed me to always be watching and analyzing things and working creatively on my own projects and things like that, as well as professionally. So yeah,
Cool.
that's my background.
All right. Well, next question then. Also from a channel member, rphone83. Can we get a Ricardo Captain's recap where he revisits all of his Jean-Luc Picard alternative actor suggestions, plus a special request, more Jason Statham as the transporter impressions, please? I think that's to Dan, because Dan does that sometimes.
No, I think Ricardo still holds the title for most impressions done.
I guess that's true. That's
They're
true.
all the same.
Because it
though.
would always begin with,
Oh, fuck you, cunt.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing.
That's
We'll
it.
just-
That's the bit.
Yeah. We should just
more of
record
that.
that on our soundboard and just play that randomly every once in a while. You know, oh, fuck you, mate.
So I don't remember them. And
You should have predicted this. Emailer.
Okay, so I'm gonna be full transparent here. Marvin said, "Hey, I'm not gonna tell you the questions for this Q&A thing, this AMA, whatever the fuck it's called." And he said, "But I will prepare you with one at least."
Yeah, because this one you don't remember anything, so you actually.
And then he told me like, "Oh, you could prepare with this," and then I don't remember, but I did write the list of names that I would want. So, of course, Jason Statham, I remember that one. And I remember JCVD.
Yes.
But I wrote a list of captains that I think would be cool. Not just replacing Picard, but just captains in general.
Mhm.
And I wrote a list of like a few villains that I could see in a movie or a TV show that's Star Trek related. So here's my list of captains. JCVD, of course, Jason Statham, the best.
Absolutely.
Vin Diesel, my joke answer. This is like an aside, like in the multiverse of Star Trek. Vin Diesel would be like a really idiot fucking captain. Daniel Day-Lewis, you take too serious, you'd go into space and like train as a captain. Chiwetel Ejiofor, I could see.
Okay. He's in a lot of things, but the things I remember him from,
he was in Serenity in the movie.
Yes, I was about to say Serenity. He's the guy with the sword in Serenity.
The bad guy.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. And he's also Doctor Strange's rival in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes, he's the one who has the vaulting
One of my
boots.
favorite roles he did is in Spike Lee joint, Inside Man. He plays Denzel's like partner, and he's
also 12 Years a Slave, the thing he won an Oscar for.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
yeah. Ed Harris would be
Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Oh,
J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
Okay.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
J.K. Simmons, Bryan Cranston would do well in almost any role.
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci, maybe. I'm feeling it though.
I'm actually not a big fan of Stanley Tucci.
I think he could be like a snarky fucking captain.
You're not down with the Tucci?
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd be a captain for me. Yeah. Definitely a good side character, but I don't know if he'd be.
He could be a Q really easily, but I don't think he could.
Yes. Mark Strong, another captain.
Mark Strong. That name doesn't conjure a face.
He's
got him. Okay, I got him.
Yeah, he's like a British actor.
He was Shazam. Shazam bad guy.
Yeah. Sam Jackson would be a good one.
Oh.
Sure.
Denzel Washington would be a really good one, like the card level, like thinker.
Oh yeah.
Jeffrey Wright. He plays Commissioner Gordon in the
yes.
Oh yeah, he could do it.
Jeffrey Wright is he's a phenomenal actor in general. Oh, he would be fantastic.
Viola Davis.
We're just listing our favorite actors.
Viola Davis.
I went on a deep dive on these, like to
okay.
So Viola Davis.
I agree with Viola Davis.
That's great. Yeah.
Sure.
Regina King.
Yeah.
And then this actor, if you guys have seen the new Mission Impossible, he plays the villain, but I think he'd be a good captain. His name is Isai Morales, and he's like this
I know this face. Yes, he's been in a bunch of other things
stuff,
too.
Yeah, he's in La Bamba. He played Richie Valens' brother.
Yes.
And also my last two are Gael Garcia Bernal would be a great captain.
Oh yeah.
And Demian Bichir, he's one of the guys from the Tarantino movie, the Western, where they're all stuck in one place. He's like the Hispanic, the Mexican guy.
Oh, the Hateful Eight.
Yeah. And a short list for villains. Kerry Washington. I want to see her play like a full-on villain.
Oh,
Kerry
interesting.
Washington and Chris Rock. For some reason, I'd want him to play a villain.
Not Will Smith? No.
No. Well, here's the thing about Chris Rock is that like I've seen him do like serious stuff, and he's like good.
No, he can.
Just hasn't done.
Yeah, Chris Rock is an underrated actor for sure. I feel like every comedian who hasn't had the breakout role is an underrated drama actor.
Yeah.
You know,
every really good comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it takes a lot of chops to be on stage to be able to do that live. Mm-hmm. Imagine if you could just focus it slightly differently to drama, and that's almost always how it works. To me, I think.
Yeah.
Comedians are usually great actors.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you are doing an acting performance
too.
when you're doing stand-up, essentially. That's acting. So, yeah.
That's my list.
All right. Thank you, rphone83. Next, Norris5754, another channel member. What are some of your favorite albums? I know one of you mentioned owning a vinyl record player at some point. Well, Norris, we all own a vinyl player.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the
All
least
of us.
serious of them all.
They'll tell you what
Multiple.
kind of stupid hipsters we are, dude.
Yeah. Look, we live in
I would
LA.
say
We work in
Ricardo
the
is-
industry, and we all own vinyl records. Okay.
I would say Ricardo is we are the most stereotypical Los Angeles assholes in the world.
All right.
I would say
And
Ricardo.
we have a fucking podcast. Oh my god.
And there's only one
Jesus
girl on it.
fucking Christ. Oh no.
Oh
We've just filled every fucking stereotype.
I would say
Jesus.
Ricardo is the most into the vinyl stuff. He wears gloves in order to access his vinyls.
I wear gloves when I put on my records. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
that's pretty serious.
But I bought a vinyl cleaner that's a
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner. So I don't know I don't know between that. I don't
And
know.
you
by the way,
cleaned all of
by the
it,
way,
yeah.
I still have, and I
I know.
haven't turned it because I haven't washed my records. So
it takes fucking forever.
I know. Basically, there's a big old thing where I have to wash my hands. I have to demagnetize myself, and then I put my gloves on that are demagnetized already, and then I could put on the record, and then once that's done, I could stop, and then I do the whole process again when I turn the record, put it away.
But what's your favorite albums though? Like what do you?
Yeah.
I know Sarah instantly has one.
If I'm doing like a quick five, I'll go last.
Okay.
No.
No, you go first now. You've already
Yeah.
I lately I've been listening to a lot of Nick Cave. So anything Nick Cave.
Lately, you always listen to a lot of Nick Cave,
That's
dude.
You like
Even
Nick
back
Cave,
when we
Nick Cave in the bad seats, right?
Yeah. But lately, like he's been doing like
He
solo
does
stuff.
solo stuff. Yeah. I love Nick Cave.
I basically anything that he does, I'd be into. In Life from Folsom Prison, Johnny Cash is probably number one. Probably like modern stuff. I don't know. It's hard to pick, but I would probably say something from the National.
Okay.
Probably High Violet.
I'll go next because I cheated, so everyone else can have some time to think.
Oh, damn it.
My taste in music is very, very random and varied. So it basically varies like this. So one of my favorite albums of all time, Quality Control by Jurassic 5. But I'm also a big fan of Cake. My favorite album of Cake is Fashion Nugget. But then I also like the Kinks a lot. My favorite Kinks album is their Weird album. Kinks are the Village Green Preservation Society. I'm also a big fan of Chaos, the Canadian rapper. But my favorite album of his is Joyful Rebellion. Chaos, also known as Kevin Brereton, as Dan and I often joke. Kevin.
You have to really emphasize that H.
Because he does. And then modern stuff, I like Anamanaguchi a lot. If you guys been watching Scott Pilgrim like we did, they're all over that show.
No one's watching that show.
I watched it. Dan and I watched it. I liked it. I think it's actually one of the best animated shows on Netflix right now.
I liked it less than Marvin, but I still liked it.
I think my favorite album of theirs is Endless Fantasy. I think that's not a controversial opinion. I think everyone loves that album. I also like Tom Waits a lot. Real Gone is a really good album by Tom Waits. Probably I would only choose that just because Hoist That Rag is one of my favorite songs of all time in general. Similar vein, I like Steely Dan a lot. Asia, but that's like saying you like the Downward Spiral. You know, it's like saying it's like the most famous album. Mystery Skulls Forever, great album. But my favorite album of all time is actually Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys because I just love the musical composition Brian Wilson does in it. But yeah, that's my big, weird, random assortment of stuff. That doesn't even get into the weird heavy metal and Japanese K-pop I listen to.
And some of it was artists and not albums.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty far away from albums here.
That's true.
All of those I listed albums for every single one of those artists. So yeah.
Okay. Let's see. If I'm sticking only to my vinyl record collection, I'll just do that for simplicity's sake.
Okay.
I have a couple of different versions of the Bebop OST.
Oh yeah,
that I like to put on. I have a bunch of pillows. Happy Beavac's a standout because they're my favorite Japanese rock band of all time. I have a pretty extensive collection of Young Bae's music, the future funk artist. I have a lot of future funk albums in general because Neon City Records is like a distributor that like just keeps on cranking them out, and I kept buying them for like 2 years. Lately, I've been a big fan of Last Dinosaurs, which is kind of like a inspiration band that started in Australia because of the pillows, or inspired partially by the pillows, but they're great.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, it's just like, video game remix soundtracks, things like Zelda Lo-Fi and Chill and shit like that.
Yeah.
But as far as record vinyl players go, I haven't upgraded since the little one that you gifted me, Marvin. So like that's the kind that uses one of those red slide-in styluses.
Yeah.
That, kind of like a Victrola or something of the sort.
Well, if you're just having fun with it, that's all you need.
Well, exactly. So
yeah.
that's why I got it set up.
I got in way too deep. I connected it to my 4.1 sound system and
yeah.
I got a diamond needle.
And I should make a point to say that I do, in fact, have a vinyl rendition of Glenn Miller and his orchestra playing in the movie.
Yes.
I do have that.
It's funny. So I saw that on eBay the other day, and I was like, should I pull the trigger on this thing?
Do it.
Yeah.
There's so many versions of it.
I know.
These days, my approach to I used to collect vinyls because they're like, oh, this is my favorite album or favorite artist. I'm gonna get their vinyl. Now the way I do it is if I'm at a flea store, like a flea market, and then there's a vinyl area, I just check it out, and whatever I've never seen before but looks interesting, I will get. I stopped using it as a way to I'm just gonna get my favorite thing. And now I just get whatever's cheap and it looks interesting. I've never heard it before because I think that's more interesting now. Because now I find myself in a place where I don't listen to vinyls that often. Maybe once in a blue moon when I'm cooking, but that's about it. So
I mean, that's also how you'll discover things that are truly forgotten and unheard now, because all too often the things that, all the music that is available now, most of it is only known by the most popular stuff. Even the old, of the old stuff, only the most popular stuff is remembered. So
yeah.
Well, I love vinyls. And oh gosh, the music question. Let's see. I mean, obviously for me, I grew up a big Nine Inch Nails fan.
Still are.
I still am, yeah. But that's tracing back to early teenagehood. Downward Spiral, The Fragile, everything by Nine Inch Nails, everything Trent Reznor does. I'm a huge fan of.
Pick an album. We're doing albums. I fucked up. Pick an album.
Oh, Downward Spiral for sure. Yeah, 1994 Downward Spiral, life-changing album for me. I also consider myself a really big fan of Opeth and their album Damnation, Ghost Reveries, Blackwater Park. They're Swedish progressive metal, and they were equally as formative as Nine Inch Nails as well. Also a huge Jeff Buckley fan. R.I.P. Sweet soul. Jeff Buckley died too soon. But his album Grace, also released in 1994, very formative for me, along with Nine Inch Nails. And his voice is unmatched, in my opinion. Let's see. Current day stuff. I love Big Frida from New Orleans. I love bounce music. Just Be Free, which is a great album by Big Frida. What else? Megan Thee Stallion. Big Megan Thee Stallion fan. Love her album Good News. And yeah, I love Megan. I love Lana Del Rey too.
Who's I forget that you like
Casey Musgraves.
Yeah, I was about
Golden
to say
Hour.
yes, that was the one.
Yeah, Casey Musgraves.
I was about to say the Hawaiian Christmas album.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
You listen to that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna be playing
it. The Preservation Hall jazz band albums that we've all collected from New Orleans are all pretty great.
Yeah.
The Preservation. Okay,
Preservation
just in general,
band.
anyone, if you go to New Orleans, maybe the one thing you must do out of anything in New Orleans is go to Preservation Hall. It's literally not done like that anywhere else in the world.
That's amazing. Yeah.
The Preservation Hall is the last place where you'll hear the stereotypical New Orleans jazz that, everyone thinks of when they think of old New Orleans.
I don't think we told you this, Dan. It's the last time we went to Preservation Hall. There was off to the special guest area, this timid looking Japanese guy and his family sitting there. It was like, oh, there's a guest, right? Special guest. And at the end, the band leader was like, so I want to, I forgot his full name, but his last name is Takuchi, but I don't know his full name.
Okay.
He said, we're bringing him up. He's just going to do a little number for us. We were like, oh, cool. And he went to the piano, played the piano by himself, and it started super quiet, super soft. And suddenly it turned into the most intense piece of piano music we have ever heard in our entire lives. We almost started crying. and he was playing it so hard the piano looked like it was going to like get destroyed. The piano was shaking.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
And then after he was done, he's like, okay, thank you. And he just ran away. And we're like, who the fuck was that guy?
A pianist.
So just a random aside. But
well, I remember the time that I went with y'all. There was a Japanese trombonist on their band that night.
You're right.
And she was amazing.
Yes.
She was so good.
Yeah. There's a big jazz scene in general in Japan. And the jazz scene in Japan is different from the jazz scene in America in that in Japan, they really love technical jazz. So so when you have some of them play at Preservation Hall, you get this fun mix of like feeling based, like jazz musicians combined with super high technical, like Japanese musicians. And you're like, wow, this is a really interesting mix.
That was a great question. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, that was really great. Our next question from indigo.h channel member. What made y'all want to start a podcast series together in the first place? How do you keep it going consistently for as long as you have? I'm going to slightly modify that because this really all started because one day Ricardo asked me to join a podcast. Why did you ask me?
I don't remember. I don't remember doing that.
It wasn't me.
It was for the film podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, do you want to do it? I was like, sure. The pandemic started. Just like everyone else in the fucking world.
It was a pandemic project, I mean, right? Like,
well, yeah, the pandemic really encouraged a lot of people to, just
to
get
try
into
new
something.
things and like a way to connect with each other. And, it was a lot of interesting, good things happened out of this weird time in history.
But Sarah joined after the pandemic, no?
No.
Yeah, still mid-pandemic. Yeah,
like mid. We were kind of in it still.
It was because we had only reached the end of the second season when Sarah joined, so it was definitely well within the pandemic still. That Sarah joined the podcast.
I mean, I can't answer as to why you guys started it because initially it was just the three of you, and then I think
we've spoken a couple of times by now on the genesis of like why this podcast concept came to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess the trigger point was Marvin actually getting a taste of recording one then.
And we were like,
was that before you pitched starting it with me?
So, yeah, I mean, it was basically Ricardo asked me to jump in on a few episodes of the film podcast. And I was like, sure. And I was like, I'm curious. How does this work? Because I was itching to do a creative project for a long time. And the pandemic sort of prevented that. I can write, but I have no one to produce it with.
What are you talking about?
No, because we weren't allowed to shoot anything in person at the time. That's why. So,
and also just generally speaking, writing requires production in general, which it requires a lot more than what we do.
All production was shut down, and the only production that could move forward were the ones that had massive COVID budgets, which we obviously would not have had. So I was like, "Oh, this sounds cool." Dan and I used to like joke about a Star Trek podcast or some sort of reaction thing back in the day because Star Trek's pretty stupid sometimes.
So you initially were very specific about Star Trek,
I'd always wanted to do it for Star Trek because I love Star Trek, but because it's one of those shows that you love a lot, and then the closer you get to it, the more you realize how stupid it is. But that makes you like love it even more because you're like, it's really dumb in a really entertaining, fun way.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to do it because I'd never seen Star Trek, so I was like,
I know. We had to convince you a little bit
look, it is true. Some people are like, "Oh, I'm a Star Wars fan," or "I'm a Star Trek." It's true. Like sometimes they don't mingle, and I was a non-mingler, and I was like,
"Never shall the twain touch."
Look at they're all wearing the same they can't have they have individual thoughts.
Oh, it's not like Jedi don't all wear the same uniform.
They wear the same robe, dude. Like they're different colors, dude.
I always thought it was like a dad thing because my dad's super into Star Trek. So
that's true. Yeah, your dad loves Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Like this was always like his thing. Like, I was like, oh, it's like a dad parent thing. Like I don't
know my biological father, so I don't know what that feels like.
And for my part, I just kind of wanted to slowly, like over time, I kind of felt this pressure to know more about Star Trek just because I hang out with and participate in too many circles that do know about Star Trek. And I felt like I was remiss and
now you know what the memes are all about.
Exactly. There are so many memes that I did not get, and there are so many other references that I missed. So it's like, you know what? It's a piece of like 90s geek culture that I completely skipped on while it was current. And so it's time to go back and find out what I missed.
I think also a lot of people that I know, Marvin, my dad, a lot of my cousins, my uncles, they all viewed Star Trek as a comfort show, like something they really returned to. So during the pandemic, when everybody was super stressed, I know a lot of these really important people in my life were turning to and rewatching Star Trek all the time just to self-soothe from the horrible state of the world that started in 2020. And it was very emotional. It was emotionally soothing for a lot of people. I know it is for my dad and my family. Yeah.
I think part of why TNG has that staying power is because it feels so different from like our like modern lives. Like the way they live.
No, they don't work
so
for money.
Different.
What?
So it's very escapist.
Yeah.
You're not reminded about daily things very often.
Disease is cured in just a click.
You know, you're reminded about weird problems that only they can have in their weird future.
To be fair, we were being like, if to go back a bit to our earliest seasons of recording this podcast, we were in that time constantly reminded of our situations and our lives at the time, because we would see episodes where something was happening and they're like, where's their fucking PPE? there's a goddamn virus on your thing.
What kind of doctor
quarantining shit
is not enforcing any sort of quarantine whatsoever? What's going on here?
We were being
critical out about that. We were being very critical about that stuff at the time, and we wouldn't have been so critical if, you know,
we wouldn't have bashed an eyelash. Yeah, batted an eyelash.
I think I still would have been a little bit like,
we would have said something, but it felt really real at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even know what the acronym PPE was, you know.
That's true. I didn't know that's what PPE stood for.
I didn't know what that was, but now we use it all the time.
I knew what it was. It was.
I didn't know.
Put one P in the E and then another one in the T.
Now we're like, where's your PPE? Come on.
Up your butt. But as for the second part of the question, how do you keep it going consistently for as long as you have? I guess we try to like not take it too seriously. I think that's one part of it. I think we're trying to also like do it in a way that feels sustainable. Like I don't want us to burn out, which is why we take breaks, which is why we also just go, this isn't worth it. Let's not do it. Because I would rather it last longer than burn out fast, you know?
I think we just have fun. And honestly, it helps that Star Trek is actually good.
Everyone wishes they lasted longer. Just putting it out there.
Well, yeah, it helps that Star Trek's fun, but it also helps that you guys are so supportive, to be honest. There's a lot of negative Nancys out there, as there would be for anything, but there's a lot of you who are extremely kind. Like
the vast majority of you are extremely kind.
Literally,
don't let human bias.
No, it's like literally 95 to 98% of the feedback we receive is like literally. Like there's some things people have sent us in emails that I won't repeat because they're very personal, but I will say that some of them literally make me almost cry. Like some of the
just know we read every single email.
Yeah, we read every email.
So we get your messages, and and believe me, there have been some amazing emails and feedback from people that have made this all worth it. And the time and dedication we all put into this, I'm
kind of shocked that we have that effect at all to anyone anywhere.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
No, every so often I just do this just because I think it's fun to blow my own mind every so often. I go through our analytics and try to just calculate a total of something that, you know, has been tracked since the beginning of our channel.
Yeah.
And to just say like, this is how many days or accumulated years of listening time that everyone, that has been listened to or played back.
And that's just on our channel.
YouTube. Crazy.
That's not even including the podcast stats.
Exactly.
Like
and
stats.
At this point, I'm like, holy crap, it's a lot of freaking time that we've claimed from people's lives.
And you know what? It takes
taken from them.
It takes so much to listen.
I apologize.
I gotta say, it takes so much effort and I don't know,
because we do edit it quite a bit.
Yes, and I have to listen to my voice all week, every day. And I hate my voice.
I just hate listening to my own.
I hate my incredibly high, annoying voice, and I have to listen to it all the time. And thank you for everyone who is so kind about my voice, but I'm very self-conscious about it. And I have to fucking listen to it.
I actually get a lot
all
of
the time.
So Inside Baseball, they don't read. Everyone else doesn't read a lot of the emails.
Marvin, you hate baseball, dude.
I don't hate baseball.
Talk about baseball though.
Yeah, dude. Make another reference, dude. Inside Street Fighter.
Inside basketball.
Yeah.
Inside the sausage factory. How the sausage is made.
Yeah, we're letting you know
how the sausage
Inside
the sausage factory. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So Inside the Sausage Factory.
This is how the sausage is packed.
I encourage everyone to not read the emails because I want it to be a surprise when we do email readouts. But there's a lot of nice emails. Some of which are, Sarah, they do like your voice.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Surprisingly, very little negative email, which is kind of shocking. But
you know what though? I appreciate those.
Because
you took your time. You took your time. You took your time.
Yeah.
Out of your day to be like, I hate these guys.
I've shared the negative emails in chat sometimes because they're hilarious sometimes.
These
when they're actually emails, then you know that you've got them. Like if it's just a comment or something on YouTube or whatever, they wrote something as soon as they started hearing something play, and they may not have even seen the whole thing.
Exactly.
But
also,
even a comment.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Because look, a comment is kind of like trolling. And trolling doesn't take too much effort. But if you wrote an email, dude, I know the type of hatred that you feel. And I love it, dude. Whatever hatred you're bringing,
we're down for that.
Yeah, I live for that. I hate everything.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that question, indigo.h. Next, Nora the Elk 3729, another channel member. Will you be watching DS9 next? I keep watching DS9 episodes and imagining how y'all would react. So we are watching it next, and we're actually watching everything in air order. So mid-season 6 of TNG is when we're going to switch over to DS9 and probably going to alternate somewhat back and forth based on how they were airing. I'm actually not 100% sure. I do know they did alternate. So
if you have any suggestions, comment below.
Yeah, my reasoning for that is because episodes often used to interact. So I think that would actually be the best way to do it. But yeah,
I'm excited to start DS9.
If you
the D9,
yeah, D9.
I mean, so if you listen to our other podcast that is out now, would you stay tuned? We went over Battlestar Galactica, and I have a feeling that some of our discussion, like in Battlestar Galactica, will kind of be some of the tone we have for DS9 to some degree. So just saying.
Oh, good.
Did they see frack?
Frack.
Fracking.
I'm going to say this right now. The big reason why I never gave DS9 a chance is because it was way uglier.
It is. But
really?
it is intentionally uglier. Yeah. It's funny. John, so because we're preparing for the new season, John Bellas, who's the one who designs our YouTube animations, he always does an amazing job, by the way. If you guys looked at
shout out to John.
If you look at the Would You Stay Tuned animation set,
shout outs.
It's crazy good.
John and Jasmine. You know what? Shout out to John and Jasmine. It's a group effort.
Collectively.
It's true. Jasmine does like critique
she has
him.
A lot of notes. She's just as all in. We love you, Jasmine.
In fact, for Star Wars, oh my God, for Star Trek, she helped him a lot with the set because he doesn't know anything about Star Trek. But he would like design a thing and be like, "Is that okay?" And she'd be like, "No," and point different things out. So that was really helpful. But he is currently designing the DS9 set, and it's funny because he thinks, when I think of Star Trek TNG, I think of bright light and blue. When I think of Deep Space Nine, I think of dark and brown.
Yeah, it's dark and brown and
wow! I can't wait to start DS9.
That seems like head prosthetics.
It's going to be such a different vibe.
It is an extremely different vibe.
And I can't. Like, I'm having trouble imagining it. You know,
to the point where an original. So by then, there has been a ton of TNG fans. The transition to Deep Space Nine was rough. People did not like it because they wanted more TNG. And DS9 is not TNG.
It's like, bam, 9Ds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of D.
Yeah. I was going to say this. Hot take. Adam Adama Oh, what's the name? Is it Adam Adama?
Yeah.
It's not Adama. Don't say Adama.
William Odama.
See, so, okay, I just want to clarify. I think why I kept saying Adama, because I think I kept trying to say adamant. And I think that's why.
I think you just hate
Adamant
Edward James
Adama.
Olmos, dude. You don't like coolest.
And the same for
Adamant Adama.
I kept saying Gaius instead of Gaius.
Yeah.
I think it's because my brain kept rhyming it with Dr. Zaius from The Simpsons.
All right, I'll take that.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go check out Would You Stay Tuned? Battlestar Galactica.
But I'm still sorry, everyone. I'm still sorry.
That's my hot take. Admiral Adama is, or captain at that time, is a better captain than Jean-Luc.
Well, commander. He's a commander throughout most of the show.
Yeah.
Because the hierarchy.
He's a better leader. He's a better leader.
Even though I've only watched the pilot, I could be convinced of that. Yeah.
I do think he feels like, because he seems to be about as learned as Picard. Like, he's also super into books. He's also super into
I like his old school way.
Old school stuff. He's like, he has like Picard charm, but he's like combined with Kirk. He's willing to beat people up. And then like do stuff.
And get bloody.
So he might be like the combo of Kirk with Picard. That might actually be what he is.
He's like craggy Picard.
I could technically do a newbie Battlestar, even though I've seen it, because even watching the pilot for that other podcast that we did.
I know you insisted those Centurions were in there, and they were not.
Yeah. And I forgot like the twist at the end came, and I was like, "What the hell?"
You were like, "What's going on? I've never seen this before."
I'm in the same boat because I watched it a long time ago.
That was a Cylon the whole time.
Everything, I've forgotten everything.
Dude, I love Battlestar Galactica. I'm gonna watch it. I like it.
I mean, I gotta admit, Battlestar did have a really good broad hook, which is who's the Cylon.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
that's a great
everyone loves a good who done it, right?
Exactly.
It's
everyone loves
like
a good
Heroes.
whodunit.
Who was a cheerleader?
I mean, kind of, sort of. It had that sort of setup
but
where
then
it's like
future
big
shows,
overarching thing.
But then future shows started like doing mystery box style writing instead of. From what I understand, Battlestar knew from the beginning what they were going to do with it. But anyway,
no.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, anyway, Nora.
Not exactly.
Nora the Elk, thank you for your question. Next, Patrick HS4GE.
Is this code for Patrick Stewart? Did he email me?
Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Pat Stew. Sir Pat Stew.
Stewart. Yeah.
But it's another channel member. Will y'all come to the Star Trek convention in March in San Francisco? I'm just going to take it as a general
I would love
in-person.
to. Is that happening?
I know. I'm going to be there. Are you?
I don't know. I actually put that in just to like sort of live field it.
Sir Patrick Stewart, is that you?
Live field it to everybody. Like, what do you guys think about?
Oh my God, yes.
Conventions and stuff.
Absolutely. I would love to. God.
The way actually my thought about it is I would like to be invited to them rather than, go out to them just cause.
So here's the thing.
Maybe as an attendee, but if we're talking about like having some sort of a thing there, I would definitely want them to know.
I'd want to go as an attendee.
I think for next year, maybe we're trying to see if we can maybe get invited to WonderCon, or the following year. I think
that would be great.
It's a soft.
Yeah, we were looking kind of into that, right?
Yeah. And or Comic-Con, because I it's not too hard to if you if you have the right thing to push.
If the studios keep skipping San Diego, it might be even easier.
And
I mean,
and I would say
Comic-Con looks like it could slowly start going the way of E3 in the sense that everyone big is just skipping it.
Yeah,
so.
Might be.
And also, I'll say this: I probably wouldn't go to a convention in San Francisco because I hate San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco's beautiful.
I love San Francisco. It's so beautiful.
Not a fan, dude. Not a fan.
You don't like rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat?
It is not the San Francisco treat.
Why do you hate? Like I gotta know. What's your worst?
The San Francisco punishment.
Is it the weather? The people?
No.
Do you hate the Bart?
I hate the Bart. Yeah, because it's named Bart.
Full House? You hate Full House?
Fuck everybody in Full House. Here's the thing. Everything, no matter where you're walking uphill.
Oh, yeah.
You turn left.
I was going to say the walking,
You're like, I was just going uphill. I would just go uphill. I'm going to turn left here. You turn left, uphill.
Yeah.
Let me go this way. Uphill.
Look, you get your steps in.
You're never walking downhill. No matter. It's like a geological oddity, dude. Never walking downhill.
True.
Yeah,
that is so true. That is
when
so true.
When they have that joke of I used to walk uphill both ways to school and back home. That kind of can happen in San Francisco, depending on the route you take.
Yeah, Marvin and I did a walking tour in San Fran, and I felt like I was gonna pass out at the end of it. We were.
I felt good at the end. I felt like I was like getting real steps in versus like fake steps.
We're going uphill again.
Define fake steps.
Where you're just kind of just walking around.
But those are what steps are.
If you're taking a step, it's a step, okay?
If out of all the places I visited, I would never go back there again ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Just because of uphill. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I just didn't like the vibe. I didn't like the vibe.
Well, I love San Francisco, everybody.
Yeah, I do
too.
Not me, dude.
I mean, like love is a strong word, but I do really like the city.
To be honest, here's my number one thing. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I'll say it. I'm going to be honest. The stupid San Francisco Giants, dude. I would rather.
Of course.
Yeah,
it comes down to baseball.
Scott's also a huge San Fran, a friend of the podcast here. You guys
which is
know.
why
and the 49ers
Ricardo will never fully accept Scott.
There we go. Scott's a huge San Fran guy. I always get him something special when I go.
Scott's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Professionally, we're done.
Professionally, you never started.
Oh, yeah, Scott's going to listen to this and be like sad. Oh.
Scott knows why. Scott knows why.
Yeah.
He feels similarly to Ricardo. So,
I mean, I honestly, if I could meet Jonathan Frakes or anybody on TNG, I don't know. I would feel so honored. That's so cool. I don't know. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. Love to. Or Sir Patrick Stewart. Oh my gosh.
Oh, all right.
If you're a con-goer with ideas, feel free to say something.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know.
This is actually ground that is very not treaded at all. We barely have thought about it at all. So
if we ever got invited to the one in San Francisco, I would just zoom in. I would go. I'd be like, sorry, I'll zoom in.
It's gonna do Zoom.
You wouldn't even Zoom. You would pre-record a message. You would be like, "Hey, everybody, this is Ricardo."
Pre-record a message and then we respond live. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the email.
Yeah,
thanks for the question, Patrick. Yeah, thank you,
Sir Patrick.
Next, our first question from not a channel member. One, Mr. Pooney.
Mr. Pooney?
Yeah.
Pooney, huh?
If you were asked to write a funny 18+ Star Trek show, what would that look like? I feel like, from what I have seen of Lower Decks, that kind of already is what I would do, where it is like very much like, adult humor, but they are taking Star Trek lore very, very, very seriously, and it all ties in together.
Approach, I agree with that approach. If that's what Lower Decks is doing, then I'm fine with that.
Lower Decks is like the fan service show. It's like everything you wondered, like, what happened with that? Why didn't they resolve that? What's going? Okay, people, when we all said we hated Darmok, except me because I like Darmok. But when everyone else said they didn't like Darmok, everyone kept saying,
"I didn't hate it."
I
voted to the fucking hype.
Everyone kept saying,
I hated it.
Everyone kept saying you need to watch the Lower Decks episode about the Temerians because they were like, "Oh, it's actually really good. It addresses some of the issues you have with Darmok." So it seems like whoever writes and runs Lower Decks seems to be on a similar wavelength, at least the way we're thinking. So.
Well, they seem to revisit a lot of TNG stuff, or I've heard on multiple occasions now that like a TNG plot point has come up again in Lower Decks specifically.
Yeah, it also stars, what's that dude from The Boys? The guy who plays Huey.
Huey?
Yeah,
Huey.
Oh,
I like that guy.
Yeah, Huey from Huey from The Boys. Jack Quaid. Yeah. Dennis Quaid's son, Jack Quaid. I like him as an actor. He's actually really, really good. I
think like only a month or two ago, we heard about like, what's his name? La Perla, whoever it is, the pilot school guy. Who, like he appeared again in Lower Decks as well.
Yes.
So
La Perla shows up again. So
yeah, that's his name. Don't question it.
I would probably write something that's a little bit more realistic and representative of living somewhere full time and also working full time around the same group of people. Like,
oh my God, you love DS9. You're just writing like, DS9.
Well, then I'm excited. Like mixing personal and professional, because it's like
this is every single thing.
They live on the Enterprise and they work there full time. But like, I feel like in TNG, we only see the work side of it. We never see the more personal side of it as much. I mean, sometimes you get glimpses
of it. It's very rare. Yeah.
Like, I kind of like the episode. Oh my God. Remember when
Data's Day?
No. There was the one with Jonathan Frakes, and she was like asking him, like, how big's your penis? And
The Outcast?
was it that one?
Yeah, but that was all work related. They didn't really.
No, but I like that she was like having conversations that weren't related to work. She kept interrupting the work.
I guess so.
To just even though it was about like how does your sexual organs work?
Right.
It was like, at least it felt like more natural, because it's like they're working doing this repair on whatever shuttlecraft or whatever. And they're just like asking questions around, like, just having chit chat like normal people would, I guess. Not necessarily the topics that they were talking about, because she was just like, how do you reproduce? But it just felt more natural. And that was such a rare side of TNG that we never get. So I would probably write or do something similar to that world.
You would have written DS9.
I would do two different ones. If I could, like a movie. One would be, have you seen Swingers? The movie Swingers from like the 90s?
Long time ago.
You want Star Trek Swingers?
Yeah, I want Star Trek Swingers, dude. Where just one dude he's just pining over a girl, and like it's imagine
so
like
it's
a
nothing.
Riker
So
type.
sci-fi is just a setting, and a different type of story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. Just imagine like spaceships in the background, and then he's like, this dude's like, so do I wait 3 days and then call her? He's like, no, you wait 2 days and then you call her.
I like
he's
that.
Like, that's fun.
He's like, but can I teleport there? He's like, oh, that you never want to teleport there.
No, that's being too forward. You have to like, if you show up in a shuttle, that's classier than if you teleport there.
Yeah. Imagine Swingers, dude. I'm gonna write it. And then another one would be like a Terrence Malick movie in the Star Trek universe.
Wow.
Like,
I just
like a lot of voiceover, and a lot of like poetic type of.
Okay, that's very different. Two very different vibes.
A lot of time spent on Chateau Picard going through the
Oh my God. You know what I would like too? A like criminal underbelly world.
I was just about to say
of like Star Trek, like a mobster. Like
I was thinking,
what's the bad side?
That.
Give me seedy. Give me like horrible. Like,
I was thinking like, what
criminal.
if it was like The Godfather but Star Trek?
Yeah.
Or it was like
I love that.
Like Heat. It's Heat, but in Star Trek.
Heat as Star Trek. Oh, that'd be kind of sick.
You have Riker going, you don't ever get attached to anything. You can't walk away from.
American Gangster as Star Trek. Like it's a rise of one criminal figure in Star Trek.
Yeah, or like a Breaking Bad Walter White of like Star Trek.
That'd be kind of neat, to follow someone who's evil for once.
Like, are there canonical races or planets that are considered like unsuitable? Well, aside from the known like Cardassians or whoever, like who are outside of the Federation,
bastards.
Like, are there a bunch of them that can't be considered for membership because they're just too violent or just too seedy or just too...
that's what I want to hear.
Currently, in our form of TNG, it's the Ferengi.
That's
they're not cool. They're not cool, dude.
But you also mentioned the Cardassians, and the Romulans are not part of the Federation either.
I want like a planet where they show up and there's like a bunch of cockfights. There's cockfights going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then like Riker's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Okay. Like I'm just trying to like come up with a scenario or setting in which we have like an array of non-affiliated or non-Federation regulated space that can be just a setting for crime.
Neutral zone.
Okay, I guess it would be a neutral zone.
Let's do it then. The
so it would be like
zone.
the neutral
Star
zone.
Trek, the neutral zone.
Oh,
there you go.
That would be a
Then you send in like your operatives into the neutral zone because technically you're not supposed to be there.
Oh,
they're undercover.
Are we writing the new Star Trek series that's never been done? Star Trek: The Neutral Zone. Bam.
That sounds fun, actually.
Bam.
It's like people who have
Don't
to live
steal
on
our
the.
idea.
I mean, both my movies could take place in that neutral zone.
That's true. Yeah.
One episode could just be about this dude. And then later in the season, you find out that he's really important and that he's slacking off because he's thinking about this girl.
Or you there's different parts of the neutral zone, right? So people live on the fringes, on the edges of the neutral zone, but some are deep in,
Can you interact with the other zone? Like it'd be cool if like you could like get out of the neutral zone.
Well, yeah, it's just like the ocean essentially.
Yeah.
Do you think that in
I like
intergalactic waters you can have hollow monkey knife fights?
Oh yeah, that's in the title sequence of Star Trek, the neutral zone. They're wearing space helmets too. So
Yeah. That's how you know.
Yeah, that's how you know they're in space.
I love it. We're gonna don't steal our idea, anybody.
Or
Star
steal
Trek.
it. I don't care.
Star Trek, the neutral zone.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Patrick, or Mr. Pooney. Mr. Pooney for that.
Come on, dude. Get it right.
Mr. Poon, thank you.
Next one is from Josiah Tillett 9942 to the gang with a slight emphasis on Ricardo. I recently visited Mexico for the first time and was exposed to the majesty of tajin. I'd love to try it back at home. Can you please tell me your favorite applications for tajin when you're eating or snacking?
Yeah. Any fruit, my man. And most vegetables. So, okay, so here's the power rankings.
Nice.
Watermelon
Yes.
is the best with tahini. And
Sarah just showed me a video of someone eating watermelon tahini.
I think I sent you guys.
Oh, you sent it.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Ricardo
sent it. Oh, you sent it.
It
Oh,
was like a YouTuber, like a streamer trying.
And he was like,
So
"What the
good.
fuck? What the
yeah,
fuck?"
he's like,
Well,
"This
the best
looks
thing is
good."
it was a Korean boy. It was
That's
just
what
some
he
Korean
said.
teen.
Yeah.
So on watermelon with a little bit of lemon, and because it combines the
Interesting.
citrus with
Add
the
a little
sweetness.
lemon. Okay.
On apples, on cucumbers, cucumbers with lemon and tahini. It's delicious.
Cucumbers with tahini do sound like that would be really, because
Yeah.
I don't really
It's
like
refreshing
cucumbers that
too.
much,
It's like
but I think with tahini
in the
it would be
summer?
good. Yeah.
It's hot up there. You want to take a little snack. You put a little
All right.
tahini, a little lemon, a little fucking get yourself some toothpicks. And you're fancy, you know. And then really you can put it on food. I've seen people put it on corn. So they do like Mexican street corn, and then they put tahini on top.
Oh yeah, I mean you put the mayo with the tahini on it. Yes,
Yeah.
it's perfect. Yeah, it's
You
great.
could
How
have
and
it
when
as in your margaritas, like the.
Oh, yeah, you rim your
margaritas
margaritas
with
with
that.
that.
Yeah, I also
So
rim.
good.
I rim my. Oh, that sounds dirty. I rim my
Beer.
like if I have like a nice citrusy like Mexican beer,
Yeah.
I'll rim my glass and
Yeah.
it's like
Yes.
it's almost like
So
putting
good.
like a salt on
A blue
fucking-
moon with a
Corona.
tahini actually works pretty well.
Yeah.
How
Any
and
light-
when
any light
should
beer.
chamoy be deployed?
I
Ooh, I
guess
like
if you want
chamoy
like a mixed drink, you could probably do it. Like you could line the cup. With
I have very
chamoy.
little experience with chamoy.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But just I mean the purity of the tahini, dude. You gotta keep it
Well,
pure.
chamoy doesn't go bad with fruit either.
You know what's really
chamoy
good?
is delicious,
You,
yeah.
you want it like delicious, refreshing. Like you could do it in the winter too. Is like a nice tequila
Mhm.
and oranges with tahini.
Oh,
yes.
tequila, oranges, and tahini.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yep.
And
I
like
like
Have some
that.
salt handy.
yeah, and you don't if you have really good tequila, you don't need to do the whole like lemon or orange thing. No, it's more like a snack that goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so good.
All right. Well, thank you for the tips.
I love
Ricardo.
oranges and tahini and oranges and salt. That's like a big.
Oh,
Or
you
mezcal.
love your oranges and
Mezcal.
salt. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
oranges and salt. That's my yum.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the question, Josiah. Next one, just a really quick one. This is more of one I just want to clarify something. It's from Chi-Town 111111.
Mr.
Okay.
Chi-Town?
Yeah, Mr. Chi-Town.
Like-
Mr.
Like
Chai City.
Shy City?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chai
Chi
City.
City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Damn.
common, essentially. Really like really like the YouTube shorts overlaid with the original clip. Would you ever consider a longer format video going through the whole episode? So the answer is pretty much always going to be no. There's a few reasons for that.
We've had
One.
to answer this question several times.
Yeah, but I just want to clarify
Yeah.
it in a said format. So the main reason, the biggest reason, is that YouTube will destroy us. It's back in the day when we were a smaller channel. Not only did our shorts get flagged a lot, they got flagged manually, which means there was a CBS lawyer sitting at a desk somewhere,
Or
manually,
PA.
or PA, or someone
Or somebody.
in the legal department going through our channel and manually flagging these shorts one by one. Now, happily, YouTube has changed their shorts policy to allow basically this type of stuff to go through because it is transformative. We're doing reviews on it essentially, or commentary, or having some sort of parody with it. But that doesn't prevent people from flagging it. But YouTube has decided to not allow flagging of shorts that way anymore. It's been great for us, but that is always possible for the full-length videos. And in fact, some of our videos randomly get flagged for Star Trek clips for random things. Here's the weirdest one. So does everyone remember the episode?
Feet stuff, huh? It makes sense.
Do you remember Symbiosis, the one where Tasha Yar gives Wesley the drug use PSA lecture?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, drugs are fake. People feel good. Wesley.
Yeah, he's like, you don't want any of this, dude. This is the best drug. It's the cheapest drug there is.
So that shit got flagged, and it didn't get flagged by CBS this time. It got flagged by a musician who sampled that clip in their song.
What?
Yeah, that's probably the worst like side effect of all of this crap. It's because as soon as you sample something, like that also has the
you have somehow copywritten it. It's crazy.
It's
by YouTube.
Insane.
Yeah, so I disputed it after 30 days. It was dropped. It was fine, but it did affect the channel for a bit. So this is why we don't do that. The other thing is also it would take us so long to cover all of the I think there's an old community post. You can go back and see how much editing we really do for the podcast. It's a lot. And to do video on top of that, you would not get episodes for months at a time.
We could not work fast enough.
It would just take so long. So that's the other reason. But the biggest reason,
day jobs.
But the biggest reason, honestly, is because of the copyright issue. Because we don't know how YouTube's copyright policy will change over time. We just don't want to fuck with it. We had clips in older episodes. I stopped pulling them partially because it sort of ruined the flow of the podcast, I think, whenever we stopped to listen to something. But I think also it sort of kind of was pushing up against, hey, are you taking... Because CBS in particular is very litigious. So they will...
If enough people talk, sent letters into a certain company, that shall be unnamed, and they said, you guys should give them a show. Maybe they would give them a show. Who knows?
Who knows? But in the meantime, we are very much at the mercy of the YouTube copyright system, so we just can't do it. We appreciate the sentiment.
Again, if a certain company hired us, then we would have their blessing. And
exactly.
Their clips.
A certain company.
But also, I'm glad you like the shorts. We do put a lot of effort into those, and they're fun. So I'm glad you like those. All right, thank you. And last question. Let's call this the last question.
Click it or ticket.
It's from jswizzlestick.
Swizzlestick.
Mr. Swizzlesticks?
Yeah, it's Swizz Beats.
She ain't got no money in the bank.
It's true. What did all of you expect from an enjoyment engagement level from Star Trek going into this? How is it different from how it's turning out? Oh, also thoughts on budae-jjigae. Had it for the first time a week or so ago, and it was a culinary trip to say the least. I'll just clear up the budae-jjigae thing. I think I really like budae-jjigae. That is Korean army stew, but I actually rank it pretty low on the scale of jjigae, which jjigae is just a Korean word for stew. And that's because budae-jjigae, depending on what ingredients you made it with, is wildly varied, whereas other jjigaes are more consistent. Like my favorite jjigae is doenjang jjigae, which is basically like soybean paste jjigae. And that's almost always the same, and it's great. And then kimchi jjigae is great, but it also depends on the kimchi you're using, and kimchi varies wildly. And budae-jjigae was invented during the Korean War, back when they just made stews out of whatever the U.S. Army gave them. And that's why it's almost anything. You could put like Spam and potatoes and random veggies in there. And
like a mulligan stew.
Yeah, it's essentially the Korean mulligan stew. So budae-jjigae is good, but every restaurant is going to have a completely different... Some people put ramen in it. Some people put egg and cheese in it, corn, green beans. It's random. So it really depends on where you get it. And even what the restaurant's doing that day. Because a lot of the times budae-jjigae is a Korean restaurant's way of getting rid of ingredients that'll go bad. So they'll make budae-jjigae out of it. But
okay, remind us, what was the actual question again?
The actual question,
I forgot the question
was, what did all of you expect from an enjoyment engagement level from Star Trek going into this? How is it different from how it's turning out?
What was the question again?
God damn it.
How did all of you expect... What did all of you expect from an enjoyment engagement level from Star Trek going into this? How is it different from how it's turning out?
As stated earlier, I was not looking forward to doing this podcast.
You were not excited.
I was not excited at all. It's fun. It's fun. And like now doing it, like I do look forward to it. I don't look forward to recording sometimes just because it feels like sometimes like I'm like I gotta tie myself up and like, hey, we gotta do this, and
It's
then once it's 2 minutes in, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I have the same. I always get like the cold feet going into recording. I'm always like, okay, I gotta get ready to do recording. I think I always have to like rub it off. I think it helps that we all just talk like we normally would with that. When we turn the recording off, everybody, we continue talking like this. It doesn't really stop. So this is literally, I know a lot of people say, no, this is really how we are. It's like, it kind of is. We just talk about spicier stuff.
No, for sure.
Things off.
Stuff. We just talk about personal and spicy stuff offline. I mean, for me, I came into it thinking that it was probably going to be pretty dry. I wasn't sure what to expect, that I would get the hype, but not that I wouldn't understand the hype as much. But it has far exceeded my expectations for sure. I love it, and I totally understand why it's such a favorite show of everybody, of so many people.
I have a quick question for both of you, the two newbies. Did you expect there to be this much sex in TNG?
No, definitely not for me.
No, I mean, there's not enough. If I have
no, there's not enough.
A lot of people think TNG is like Sarah was saying, like dry and like kind of just diplomacy and laser guns.
Well, I think I had that feeling because it was like
dry.
It was like a parent thing, right? Like you think everything your parents watch is like super sanitized, and I'm looking at this from like a little kid looking at their parents like, oh, my dad doesn't, my parents don't watch things with sex in them. Like, that's weird.
Now imagine your dad watching The Perfect Man.
I'm good. Pass. We will not be watching that episode.
Or watching Justice, the Sex Planet episode.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone who watched The Perfect Mate fell for Famke, okay?
It's
Everybody.
true. It's true.
Yeah. And, I get it. I get it. I totally get it now. And I'm happy to be on this journey. And even though it's late, we're decades past the bandwagon here, but it's nice to join in and get it for sure.
You can't join in, dude.
I can't join in.
We're just kind of we're in the outskirts of it.
That's true. I don't know if
we'll never be in that wagon. We have to construct our own wagon.
Yeah, and that wagon has left the train station.
Yeah, for my part, I don't know what I expect. Like, I didn't think it would get this big when we started it, so that's cool.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like we just started this off as a hobby, and we thought, like, well, maybe we would never know. You know, you kind of hope, but you never know. But so far, people have started to find us, and they're actually liking what they hear. So thank you guys. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you being here and listening to us.
People want us to do OnlyFans version where we rate adult theme movies that are Star Trek themed as well.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
sounds good to me.
No, wait. I think I saw at least one comment that said there is a adult film that is a parody of Star Trek. However, it was the pet project of a really obsessed fan who just wanted to make his script. And so the porn parts were extraneous. He had to add them in, essentially, to make this. And so there's a version out there that removes the sex.
We need to watch this.
Okay.
I forgot. It's on one of our community posts. It's in the comments somewhere.
Well, it's like if Melvar had to make a fucking Star Trek.
Yeah, it's like, so some guy, got a porn production company to produce his fan film, basically.
Dan, I love this. We need to watch it immediately.
I want to say
Tasha's in it. Apparently,
a couple of weeks ago, we were recording something. I forgot what we were recording, and then you guys lost power.
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
and the power
went out.
And it was just Dan and I just sitting here, and then I started reading all the titles. I went on Pornhub, and I started reading all the titles of the Star Trek things.
Oh, we missed that.
There were some good ones. We on one of them, I forgot which one it was, but we laughed like a solid minute of like. I couldn't get back to it.
Oh my gosh, we should do an episode where we read different titles or watch.
They're too spicy sometimes for YouTube. Seriously,
no, everything out.
YouTube after the first minute, we can get spicy. Spicy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing that was unexpected because I felt like we'd eventually have a good time. It's Star Trek. To me, it's hard to not have a good time with Star Trek, depending on what you do. I was not expecting the fans. There's a lot.
The listeners and everybody's so nice, and we talked about this before. Everyone's so kind, and I love that, the support and the kindness everyone has showed us for just doing this for fun. I feel like I really
started to feel like an influx of like fans and interaction and like actual feedback from listeners and viewers once we got stuff like uploaded onto YouTube, like a lot of it.
Because we could finally see comments, and we're like,
exactly. Oh, wow. And then that became a little easier to be like, oh, wow, like people are actually reacting to this stuff regularly. Like people are discovering it all the time, and they're, just getting started listening to us now. And that's kind of crazy to think about when we've been doing it for so long already.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years of this, man.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has been.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Fugitiveframes.com, all that stuff. But yeah, we'll be back in the new year.
If you want, I gotta mention, if you want to listen to some more of our podcasts, we started a new one recently.
Yes,
that we did.
We started a new podcast called Would You Stay Tuned, which is a podcast where we watch the pilot episode of some of your favorite shows, maybe not favorite shows, unknown shows.
Something that you hate, probably.
Something you might hate. And
people really were not jazzed about our Scott Pilgrim one.
Really? Wow. And we discuss, would we stay tuned based off of that pilot episode? And it's really brought some really fun discussion, and we step outside of the world of Star Trek. So if you are interested in that, check out that channel, Would You Stay Tuned, on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts too. It's been really fun recording that.
Yeah. And we'll be updating Would You Stay Tuned like sporadically when we can.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as often as Newbie Star Trek. I know a lot of people were also concerned, is Newbie Star Trek going to be pausing for Would You Stay Tuned? No.
Yeah.
We're keeping up Newbie Star Trek for sure.
To be fair, that is exactly how it looked. I'm not gonna fault anyone for asking that question to us, because that's exactly how it felt.
Look, we wanted to give you some nice long content for all the plane rides and car trips you're going to be on this holiday season.
Yeah. And we knew we couldn't record more Star Trek in the middle of December because we had just a lot of obligations right now. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. If you don't, that's also cool.
Also, guys, for like the 3 people that want to know, the Romulan weed, delicious.
Oh,
yeah. There's a strain called Romulan, and
really,
it's good stuff, guys.
Cool.
If you happen to be in California or the West Coast,
Romulan weed,
California weed.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a California weed. Paul Marson.
Can we get any more stereotypical to add to the list? We're podcasters in California that work in the industry that,
and Ricardo's wearing a baseball cap.
Smoke weed.
Like, I feel like the only bullet we've dodged is that none of us are everywhere. Caucasian.
That's true. That's
the only one that we haven't checked is that none of us are Caucasian.
That's a saving
It's true.
grace.
We are actually. Oh yeah, just to clarify for everyone who doesn't know, I'm Korean. Dan is Korean. Ricardo's Mexican. Sarah's Trinidadian. None of us are white.
Well, people in Mexico would be insulted. I'm Mexican American.
Okay, you're Mexican American. I am Korean American. Yes. Yeah. In Korea, I was not accepted.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And I dare not step foot in that territory for fear of being rejected.
You were born in Los Angeles, were you not, Marvin?
Yes, I was. But I'm Korean.
I was not. I was born in Canada.
It's true. Sarah's actually Sarah's the most foreign out of all of us. Actually,
that's true.
Sarah is.
I'm fucking Canadian.
In the power rankings of the world, she's lower than us.
Yes, that's true.
In the safety rankings, she's much higher. She's like a Volvo. Power rankings are low, safety ratings really high.
Yeah.
We're like a Cybertruck. Power ranking really high, safety very low.
So lesbians love her.
Lesbians love Sarah.
They do. That they do. Yeah. I mean, we're all non-white on the podcast. So just to clear up any...
Hopefully our cartoon versions on YouTube make that clear.
Racism to us.
Yeah, I think that's fairly clear. And I don't think it's actually been a misinterpretation for a little bit, except on shorts maybe.
Sometimes it's like, wow, these people are really racist.
Look at these white people talking. I was like,
white people where? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I would say this. I like to party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this has been Newbie Star Trek, last episode of 2023. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for such a
Or
good
not.
year.
Yeah, we'll see you in
More-
2024.
More in 2024. And I hope everyone has a good new year.
Yeah. Have a happy new year, everyone. Goodbye,
No,
everyone.
I don't want
See you
to.
next year, everybody.
We'll
Have an
catch you
okay.
in the next year. Bye.
Oh, Connor made an appearance.
Common. I mean, yes, it was me all along. I've been Santa this whole time.
Classic Common.
You saw right through my impression, Ricardo. I was trying really hard to laugh like Santa there, but you saw through my disguise. You
son of a bitch.
you son of a bitch, Ricardo.
Common, you son of a bitch.
All right, I'll get that John Wick someday.
Yeah.